everyone, to the Raven Report. I'm your host, Morgan Randall. Joining me today, head basketball coach Tom Slider. Coach, you finished the year 18-9. Just kind of wrap up the season for us. Tell us what your thoughts were.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this a couple weeks later than tournament time. But you know, now that the disappointment of the season ending has kind of subsided, you know, I think 18-9 is very remarkable for these guys, and certainly we had aspirations of maybe going a little further. But with the schedule that we knew we put in place at the beginning of the year, we knew it would be difficult. We knew our league would be extremely difficult this year, and to come through with an 18-9 record, certainly we're not going to complain about that. I think our guys have experienced a lot of success, and you know, we didn't accomplish the goal of getting to the national tournament of winning the conference title, but you know, there's a lot of teams that didn't get to do that, and it doesn't mean their season wasn't successful. So credit our guys for another good season, back-to-back, and really achieving some remarkable things specifically for our senior group and our young players. So you know, all in all, I'd say a success.
You mentioned some of the accomplishments. Take us through what this group has done, both individually and collectively.
Well, these guys have been, I think, 71 and 39 over the course of the last 4 years. We've won roughly 73% of our games the last 2 years, which is pretty remarkable. Certainly, you know, our seniors have had 4 straight winning seasons. They've accomplished some things personally, record-wise, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So, you know, they've won the tournament in Staten Island. You know, they've played in some pretty remarkable places, Division I locations, and traveled some places. So, you know, things that won't show up in the record, but again, I think something that you experience and say that's successful in and of itself, to be able to go do those things and be a part of our team and our program. So those are kind of some of the things that I think about as far as the accomplishments.
Coach, as you look at this year from an individual perspective, talk about the awards, talk about where especially Gabe Miller and Andrew Jones will stand on some of the all-time lists.
Well, it is. It's that time of year where you can reflect now on individual accomplishments and into the season awards. We're getting ready to have our banquet coming up here, and you know what, we've kind of talked about those guys in the past and on the radio and what storied careers they have, and now their careers are over. And so you look back and see what all they've accomplished, and you're really in kind of a state of awe in what they've been able to do, and playing 110 games in their career. Both Gabe and Andrew have played in all 110 games in their career. Gabe started 102 of the 110 games of his career. Andrew, I think, started 76 of 110, but again, I've played in all 110 games. Not very many players can say they've played in every college game that's possible. And, you know, Andrew has moved up to 23rd all-time in the list of 1,000-point scorers at Anderson University, and just remarkable consistency for 4 years. Gabe Miller has moved into 6th all-time on the steals list, and moved into 8th place all-time in assists list for a career, and has moved into 10th on the list of average assists per game for a career. Andrew Bowman has moved into, I think, 7th all-time in field goal percentage for his career. We can't leave Andrew out, even though Andrew's a little bit up in the air as to whether he's going to come back for his 5th year or not. Certainly, he has aspirations of flying planes, and you know, we're certainly not going to downplay that. That's great for our guys to have goals and do something as lofty as that. So, no pun intended, flying planes being lofty. But no, what great careers those guys have had. It's a time that we get a chance here in a couple weeks to celebrate with families of the program, and you and support people that have been so much an integral part of our program, and get a chance to, you know, have that night of feel good, warm and fuzzies, and hand out awards to accomplishments well earned. And you know, Gabe Miller leads us in assists and steals. He'll receive those awards. Brock Morrison has been the award winner for rebounds, and you know, Chris Horner has been selected as the academic all-conference team. and has won the Sportsmanship Award for the HCAC from our team. Gabe Miller was second team All-Conference. Brock Morrison was selected first team All-Conference. So certainly things that those guys will now remember the rest of their lives, and what neat accomplishments to be a part of the program that they helped create and establish a bar at a certain level, and yet be rewarded for that personally as well. So certainly well-deserved honors, and we're glad to be able to celebrate that with those guys.
And believe it or not, it's the off season now. Talk about the schedule a little bit, and just the group of guys you're expecting back next year.
Well, it's kind of a time you focus on going forward. You just come to the end of a season, and you quickly change your focus to next year's team and who's coming back and what we potentially could have coming in. Morgan, we really feel like we're in a great position with some of the recruits out there that we have a chance to possibly bring into our program and try to keep this thing at a certain level, if not raise the level of expectations. And that's exciting for us and our staff, or for me and our staff, and then certainly the guys that are returning, the chance for some of those guys that haven't played to maybe have their opportunity now in front of them. So it's kind of a new wave coming through with a little bit of veteran leadership sprinkled in with Phil Hogan and Brock Morrison. So each season brings a new chapter and new excitement, and we're just looking forward to trying to, really move on to next season. Next season in our minds have already started. It's just the games are going to be played next November. So we still have a lot of work in front of us, but it's something that we wake up every day looking forward to go do and represent this institution well and see how it can play out next year.
Well, that'll do it for today's edition of the Raven Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to check back next season for future episodes of the Raven Report. For head coach Tom Slider, I'm Morgan Randall. So long, everyone.